Welcome back. It's me, Adam. You're watching Unlimited Options Investing. Monday was a pretty brutal day in the markets for both stocks and crypto. And I want to ask the question here, are we setting up for a pretty red week in the stock market? And is crypto going to see continued downside? Are we going to see Bitcoin below $45,000 again? Ethereum below 3,500? Are we going to see Tesla fill in the gap at 910? Has Apple peaked? Has Microsoft peaked? I don't think so, but we're going to go look at the charts. If this is your first time stumbling on the channel, welcome aboard and hit that subscribe button. Here at Unlimited Options Investing, we talk everything from stocks, crypto, options, ETFs, and we're investing for the long term. As always, smash that like button and let's get started. All right, so Monday was pretty much a bloodbath and Tuesday is no different. Looking at big tech today, pretty down for Microsoft. 4% in one day is quite a bit. Google down 2.31%. Tesla again down 2.8% after a pretty red Monday. Apple finally down from those fresh all-time highs it's made. Still doing pretty well, but again down 1.22%. NVDA down again to about 278, down 1.38%. So big tech down for the most part. We're looking at financials up today pretty nicely. JPM, all the big banks, Bank of America, Berkshire is up to 295, and this one was sitting at around 280 for quite a while. And other big names, Visa, MasterCard down, PayPal sideways. So a pretty rough time in the markets. Taking a look at the FANG index, we're looking at the 4-hour time frame. And this one is below the 20 and the 50, but let's take a look actually at the 1 day. And usually when this one is below the 50 EMA, again since we've been in this ascending channel since the beginning of September 2020, we can see that whenever it was below these levels, it's always been a buy below this green line. Buy, 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 buy. And we're still quite a bit above that, so we do have potential more downside, but again, to where this blue line is right now, this blue trend line, where that would be right now would be a decent opportunity. It would statistically be a pretty good buy point if we were to reach those levels. And what I'm really liking about when the market has been pulling back as of late is the fact that not only are we filling in gaps, but we're also finding more room toward that upside, if that makes sense. Because the lower stocks go, the less risk there is and the more potential upside it could have. When we reach the top of this ascending channel, oftentimes we are eventually selling off because every time we've been touching this ascending channel, we have been selling off. Now, that can change entirely if we do break the top of the channel and create a new one. But however, as long as we are respecting the current channel, the closer we are to it, the less potential gain we'll have in the short term, again, unless we break the trend. But not really seeing much cause for concern just as of yet. The Fed does talk on Wednesday, and investors are going to be eyeing in very keenly on what Jerome Powell is going to be saying this upcoming Wednesday. And of course, it's going to matter what he's going to say, but just having this certainty in the market right now, maybe we're pricing in much worse than what's actually going to happen. That's what happened with the most recent sell-off. And oftentimes what happens, it's usually not as bad as we think it is. The fear is usually very much overdone. Looking at the put-call ratio, right now we're sitting at about 0.97. Usually when we get to 1.2 is usually when a lot more puts are being opened than calls. And usually that's retail buying up puts that Wall Street wants to expire worthless. So what does Wall Street do? They start pouring in a bunch of money, expire those put contracts worthless, make retail feel a lot of FOMO toward the upside. Retail starts buying a bunch of calls, and then what happens? Eventually, when sentiment is so high and so greedy, the put-call ratio goes a lot closer to 0.4, and that's usually when Wall Street wants to do the opposite, expire the call options worthless, and vice versa, and the cycle continues over and over and over again, the fear and greed in the short term. So the VIX over the last few sessions was gapping down, going lower, and obviously this week we've seen an increase from about 19 all the way to 22, but not nearly as high as we were, as high as 35 about 10 days ago. And we're seeing resistance at that 20 EMA, which we are seeing a little bit of pressure toward the downside. So let's see if that holds, and Wednesday is going to be a much greener day after Jerome talks, or maybe it goes down and maybe he says something that's really hawkish and the market doesn't like it. So we're going to have to sit tightly and see what happens with Jerome. So the NASDAQ, which we covered, is down 2%. The S&P 500 today on the day is down 1.25%. So what we saw today was we opened below the 20 EMA. We tried to recover, but we found more selling pressure. And right now we're sitting between that 20 and that 50. When we zoom out, we see that usually when we're below that 50, it often ends up being a pretty good buying opportunity as well on the daily. And this past Friday, we actually had a record close at about 470, 471, and then now we're seeing that weakness Nice pullback. Again, nothing screams panic to me just yet. We're still in pretty bullish context. IWM is still finding no love, no buyers on Wall Street. The biggest losers, which are the IWM and small caps, have a nice rebound after all the tax loss harvesting is done. So that is a possibility, but pretty disappointing overall in the IWM. Nothing new to report until this one bounces and finds some kind of recovery back above 220, 225. Taking a look at crypto, so Bitcoin right now, again, still hasn't found that recovery just yet. Are we going to find downside toward 43,000? But the story with Bitcoin is we want to see some kind of recovery back above this 52,000, 54,000, then it would be really on for crypto. But right now, we're not seeing that whatsoever until that sentiment returns back into crypto. And likewise, what we're seeing with Ethereum is we've broken that channel of 4,000, and now our next support would be around 3,600. We're finding buying pressure at the moment around 3,750. And looking at Ethereum to Bitcoin, we're seeing that Ethereum has been losing a lot more steam than Bitcoin has over the last week. So let's see what happens. What I want to see ideally is Bitcoin somehow, some way break those all-time highs, because when Bitcoin eventually breaks all-time highs, usually what happens is that Ethereum is following, and after Ethereum follows, then all the altcoins aren't far behind. And that's the end of my video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you think we'll see more red and more continued downside, or if you're still bullish into the end of the year and we're gonna see a Santa Claus rally. Let me know. As always, subscribe and like, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.